Welcome to Oh Brother, a podcast where we try to figure it all out. With your hosts, Brandon and Colin. On this week's show, what if the French get it?
Ahoy!
Ahoy!
How's it going?
Pretty good.
I think.
I think so.
Oh,
You know, never know 100% for sure, but you know, someone may tell
statistically,
me
it's
different at some
likely.
point. Yeah, you know.
Okay, fair. Good.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, not too bad. How are you?
I am. We're in the pre-allergy season where I start getting those days where when it's not rainy but it's windy, the allergies start to peak up, but then it gets rainy and damp and they go back down, getting me ready for the
haven't had
full-fledged.
haven't had a lot of not rainy days here, so
Fair.
I don't really know what that's about.
Well,
that's,
Yeah, this is why it's the it's like revving the engine of like getting ready for just full blown allergy season. Once the rains kind of go away or get more infrequent, and then the winds pick up, and then pollen's just driven anywhere, and then I'm coughing not because of like the cold, but now I'm coughing because of the pollen, and it's just. Oh, I can't wait for another sniffle season. It's just like I've got 4 of them now these years. Like as I've gotten older, it's like it used to just be summer, right? It just used to be summer and like late summer ragweed. Now it's just like each season has new things that my body's like, I would rather not this be there. And so it's just like one like continual loop of like sniffling and hacking and coughing my way throughout the year.
That is kind of inconvenient, right? It's also really annoying how your body goes like, oh yeah, we've seen this before, but we're allergic to it now. Like, wait, what do you mean? What do you mean now? It was fine before. Like, what is this?
But what if it's trying to kill us now? I don't know. There's no way to know.
Yeah.
And so...
Yeah, Susan says that she's never really had allergies until the past couple years. And I was like,
huh?
What? First of all, that seems unfair. Sorry about that. And I don't know if allergies are contagious. My bad. Sorry. But I don't know.
Sounds good. No, Megan's the same way where she was like, what are allergies? Like she had nothing. And then within the last 5 years, she's been like, are these allergies? Like, is this what I'm experiencing now? And I'm like, yes, you finally understand. Sorry.
You found them.
Yeah. No, they found you.
It's true. It is quite bad currently. I don't know if I shared this anecdote here. Sorry, listeners. Welcome new listeners who haven't heard this one before. There's a truck that's been like parked down at the end of our street, kind of near the woods, kind of like in the shade down there.
Okay.
And
sounds nice and sketchy.
Yeah, totally fine. But it's like black, right? And so
even
it hasn't moved. It's like a not like rest. It doesn't look kidnappy, right? It's probably fine.
Cool.
But like it's there's so much pollen on it. It looks like kind of like yellow. Right. And it's just like, wow, trees. Thanks for that. I don't know what. So yeah, there's a lot of. It's like extra, I guess, going around, trying to get you.
Oh. Yeah. No, it's been really so. And of course, I'm onboarding and training a new employee. So I'm like sniffling and hacking my way through my
the perfect
person stuff. I'm like, I promise I'm not contagious, but pardon me while I sneeze 7 times. Really imbues a lot of confidence when I'm over here like, hold on just a second.
Yeah, obviously.
Like, give me a minute.
What did I get into here? What is going on?
But I've been getting a lot of spam phone calls.
Oh no,
recently,
the worst.
To our business line specifically. It's been fantastic. So we use for our business, we have a separate business number, then we go through Google Voice to make this happen. So it's an app that we download to our phone, and you pay a base rate each month. It's like $6 a month, and then you pay on top of that for however many minutes that you use. and it rings through the app, and both Megan and I have it on our phone, so we can text clients or potential clients and receive phone calls. It works fine, right? For most months when our quote unquote business line is less than $15, I'm like, okay, like this is hard to beat given how much we use this. So, but they were going through a period where their spam filter was just like not working at all. And
see, they focus too much on updating your Google homepage.
Like Google homepage.
That white page with the logo on it.
It's really
it's new.
A lot of work went into that. Like it's still white. Yes. Well, apparently after they finished that, they were updating that. Then they went back to understanding their spam filtering because the last like 3 days, it's been really good. So the story kind of checks out if we're being perfectly honest. But it comes up, it says spam, and every now and then I'll still pick up and answer it because it has marked things as spam before where they were actually not. And so I pick up every now and then just randomly. And here is how this conversation usually goes. Actually, this one just happened today where they say, hi, we are a marketing agency and can get you in contact with someone to audit your Google My Business listing to verify it has everything. So A, it doesn't get suspended, and B, you can make contact with your clients that you want. Let me ask you a question. Have you been getting the kind of phone calls you want for your business? And today I said, you know what? I actually have not been getting the kind of phone calls. They've been different recently. And they go, oh, well, that's what we help with and why we're here. Tell me more. And I said, I've actually been getting a lot of more spam phone calls from people like you who are wasting my time.
Got him.
And look, I'm constantly reminded of just how marketers ruin everything. It's just true. Because once they find something that works, they will wring every last dollar out of that. They hold on to these methods and like just don't care. It's like using the buffalo, right, in the Great Plains of like they just keep hunting them and hunting until there's nothing left. And unfortunately, what that does is it ruins those methods for everybody else. Where it's like, I'm an artisanal marketer and for my tiny, teeny business, and I actually do like using that method, but I can't anymore because everybody hates it now because of you. And so the other thing that happened is I get messages on my LinkedIn profile. This is a new hell that I've discovered because I was in there recently to update it because I met that guy at the networking event.
Oh, yeah.
Told me to contact. So because there was like a little blip in activity on my profile, my inbox has been not flooded, okay, because I'm not whatever, but like I've gotten way more contacts of people saying like, hey, I work with so-and-so. But it's been really bad, especially because marketers, again, ruin everything. And a lot of marketers are lazy. And so what they've been doing now is because they're having to do so many cold contacts and so many cold calls, they are resorting to using ChatGPT to use their to give their scripts for what they want to say to people. And so right. And I want to listen. I want you to hear what I received today. Ready? We specialize in regulatory pathways and commercialization/reimbursement for diagnostics. We've been doing this for over a decade and would love to talk to you more about bracket, name of company here, and bracket, and where you are at. Let me know if you're free in the next few days for a call. First off, none of the first sentence makes any sense to me.
It's just like word salad, right? Like
specialize in regulatory pathways and commercialization/reimbursement for diagnostics.
That's not a real thing, right? You can't convince me that's a real thing.
Okay. And then the second question, one where it says, we'd love to talk to you more about bracket, insert name of company.
I like it. They forgot to Control V that, right? They forgot to copy paste your name here.
And see, the thing is, we use ChatGPT to like think of things and brainstorm ideas and like come up with things. But then we go and we change it and we make it our own and we rewrite
actual
stuff.
words.
Yeah.
Right.
and sometimes if you'll say like, hey, give me an example of something like this. And it will, that's how I recognize this, because it'll spit out this word vomit and it'll just use like bracket, your name, bracket, company, bracket, like address, like bracket, phone number. Like that's what it spits back out at people. And so this person is friending and following people on LinkedIn and then immediately going in and messaging them with this kind of thing. And I like, there's a lot of things in my day that I don't love that I have to do, but like, I am so glad that I do not have to resort to that kind of thing for my job, because that's terrible. That's actually
quite bad, right?
Terrible.
And it's just like lazy and bad. And again, because the only goal ever is to make as much money as possible, the ends be darned, right? Like just do whatever, right? Just do whatever. No one cares as long as you make like $20 billion, because that will make you a happier person, right? There you go. Boom, dead. Like what? Like what? Stop. Just quit.
Yeah, exactly. This is where they have to wring everything out, because if they don't, the next person might. Right. This is the tragedy of the commons thing. It just circles all back to that. If I don't fully exploit and rape and pillage this, the next person will, and they'll get more than I will. So I've got to do it while I'm here.
You have to do it now, or the French might get it. Right.
Oh,
that's what happens. That's what happens when you're the British Empire. You're like, we have to take over all this land, because what if the French get it instead? Oh no. That's what
exactly. No, this is the mentality of every marketer. What if the French get it? Like this is
oh no.
They can't not think this way. And there are whole marketing courses and things like that out there. And you can go and get coached into this and have people talk to you about how to do this appropriately and how you make as many contacts and what that means. And, I'm just like, I can't, like this hurts me so bad. And it's always, they've got a script and they won't deviate from this. The other two, the other two calls I've been getting. One, hi, this is Jonathan with insert random name of company here. That's just a made up thing for this purpose. We are partnering with insert name of local, somewhat like mid to lower tier golf course that you may have heard of. We are developing their digital scorecard app, and where people can, because people don't use scorecards anymore. There's an app that people download to go golfing here where they can keep record of all their things. And we are reaching out to local companies to be showcased on this, and wanted to know if you were interested. Okay. My first question is like, how far out do people drive? Because here's the thing. Now that's a question that, unless they understand my business, they think this is a good thing. They think, we attract people from 50 miles away to come.
Too far, bro. I need 5.
Well, and here's the other thing. I said
12 tops.
I said, and I know these golf courses that they're going to, and I'm like, these aren't that great. Like, I don't know. So I said, is that for this golf course, is that like a national average? And he said, oh, well, this is a national average for golf courses. So what people with exit surveys from golf courses will say that they drove to go to that golf course. And I'm like, okay. So like, Like, Myrtle Beach golf course. Like, sure, people driving over 50 miles to go to that.
Yeah.
No.
Random Missouri golf course. No.
Oh, it's fantastic. Oh, I love this.
Yeah. Regional City Golf Club. No. They're driving 8 miles to get here. Like, I don't, we're not going like Pebble Beach or like Augusta. I have to dig really, really deep to think of golf course names. Right? Yeah.
Well, I said Myrtle Beach, and my brain was thinking
Pebble
Beach. Anyway, but yes,
I can't. Yeah,
this isn't. No, like this is not. This isn't happening. And then I, explain what we do, and this is not going to be a good fit. And because they don't have any local data, they can't retort and say, well, actually it's 8 miles, right? They can't do that because they have no information. And so it's completely pointless and futile. And then the other one that we've been getting hit hard with is some random insurance agent guy. And this is how they train this bank of telemarketers to say this. Hi, I'm calling on behalf of whatever, Mark Stevens Insurance. Are you the owner of the business? More and more that they ask, are you the owner of the business? And so I say, hi, I'm Colin. And they'll go, are you the owner of the business? And then I'll say, who are you with? Right. Because I don't want them to know that I am. And I just right. And they'll say, I'm with Mark Stevens, insurance agent. And he wanted me to call local business owners to ask about their insurance. And so of course I just obfuscate. I don't answer their questions. I'm like, where's Mark located? And he's licensed to service you. Like,
that's not a question. That's not an answer, buddy.
They're kind of good here. And then, so I really try and drill down. And then, they want to know, like, do you currently have insurance? Are you underinsured? Or what kind are you using? And then they're like, are you using Blue Cross, Aetna, or nothing? Because they're trying to throw out to get me to just say something. Right. And then I'll say, thank you for your time. You're wasting your time over here, but good luck.
The card is blue because all medical insurance cards have blue on them for some reason. I think it's a calming color for when you're distressed in the hospital and you just want a routine doctor visit, and immediately before the nurse, the payment lady comes in and says, this payment is going to be $600. Would you like to pay now or bill later? Like, lady, like, I'm in the emergency room. Can you come back later? Like, I don't know. Like, what? Side note, European listeners, this is how American healthcare functions, right? Like, before the doctor comes and sees you,
nobody complains.
Payment lady shows up, right? I think it's only like, it's real awkward when she comes in because sometimes it's like serious and she's like, so anyway, that money you owe us for the stuff that we haven't done yet, but we will do soon.
Maybe right. No, when Lillian was learning to walk, she was walking up the steps at our old apartment in Arlington, and they were like this. If somebody took that pea gravel,
I remember.
Yeah, and she slipped and fell, and it was terrible. And I'm sitting there with my daughter who's bleeding out of her mouth, and they're like, "So, do you have insurance? Are you going to be paying on a card?" It's like, woman, get out of my face right now.
You haven't even. Can you stop the bleeding before you come back? Maybe like, can you? Yeah. You were too efficient, lady. There's still blood on the floor here. Okay,
let me use your receipt to mop up the blood.
Yeah.
Just hold on. Just let me get that.
Yeah,
thank you. I appreciate
there you go, European friends. That's just the best visualization of the American hospital system. Using the receipt from the bill as a wound filler, right? To stop the bleeding in your
I guess
arm.
I'll have this will make do as gauze for a moment. Let me
let's put this hospital receipt in here. Blah.
Oh my gosh.
All the Norwegians are going, oh my gosh, this is horrible.
Right. This is why
they're not gonna be able to sleep at night. They're gonna be this is the most traumatizing story they've ever heard in their life.
Oh yeah. So so I'm on the phone with this lady and I'm driving and I'm like, oh, okay, well, anyway, you have a wonderful day, Dolores, and bye. and I'm like, everything is awful. Like this is not I get more phone calls from people trying to sell me insurance, marketing on a random golf course's scorecard app.
Oh man, I can't.
And now these random Google My Business marketing auditors that want I just and again, sometimes it's because like sometimes they catch them, sometimes they don't, sometimes it shuns them into spam folder, and it's like, so if it's spam and I'm really busy, I'm not going to actually answer it, but then I do answer it because I'm like, what's going on? Like, what? Let me just touch in base and be infuriated for a moment because I need to get my blood pressure up more. And no,
because you need that,
right? Yeah, no, I really
no.
Yeah, you feel alive. That's what it is. I need to see sounds and hear colors from rage, and it's like, oh no, like right, these people are actually the worst. Like I understand, right? Okay, well, my biases have been affirmed, and I'm gonna go back into my hole and cover up.
There you go. Notoriously, I believe I said once on this show that golf is not a sport. And so I want to...
May have said that.
It is springtime, and so the golfers are about, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're all over the place. I have to drive by the golf course on the way to and from work, so they're out there, right? They're out in full force. And I think I've pinned on why golf annoys me a lot. Okay, so other people in other parts of the world, I need to know here. You need to know my context for this, right? So here's why I have a problem with golf, right? Golf is marketed as this like prestigious, elite event, right? You see, golf on television. Like there's like a dress code, and you have to do certain things, and there's like decorum and whatnot, right? So we have this background filtered through Missouri rednecks, right? The golf course is a weird place because that's where these two worlds collide full force in Missouri, right? We have like the alleged prestigiousness of golf, right? The historic background, Scotland, whatever, that one Scottish golf course, the famous one with the stuff. And you have all that. And then you have like just like basically John Daly, right? That kind of exemplifies the other half of the golf. So he's from Arkansas, but whatever, close enough. Like just like rednecky shenanigans and nonsense. And those two worlds meet on golf courses in Missouri. And it's just weird. And like it's like nobody really, just like really strange duality, because like in Missouri it just ends up with like a lot of the times, it's not all the time, but like a lot of times what you'll see is like a whole bunch of rich dudes and their friends drunk golfing, and you're like, what's going on?
Well, because it's also this weird, like, it is an aspirational sport because of that. Like, it is viewed as being fancy. This is what the fancy lads and lasses do.
Yeah, but it's like the same way that a lot of people in rural Missouri think fancy means like Red Lobster.
But this is exactly where I was going with this. Okay. Actually, is as I was saying those words, I envisioned like getting all dressed up to go to Red Lobster, because like it is, and it's very like, it is weird of the how people like, oh, I'm golfing, and that's meant to in some parts of the world that's meant to bring up a type
statusy,
of a statusy upper echelon, like this thing like golf clubs and things like that. But in this neck of the woods, and
I'm all for like the people, right? I'm all for like egalitarianism, right? The municipal golf club is the way to go, right? Like private golf clubs are hoity-toity and weird, right? But like the fact that the same stigma applies to just like the local municipal golf club is kind of weird, right? People treat it like it's like this just really like sacred thing, and you're like, bro, there's a jogging path on the golf. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
yeah, I'm like, I don't. Yeah. This is exclusive to no one, right? Everybody.
Yeah, this is owned by the city. You can literally just go here. Like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So it's just this weird dichotomy all the time, and it just bothers me. It like annoys me, I guess. Not bothers. Because I don't think about it too much, except when I'm driving by and you see like people out and they're like, it's just weird when you look at the golf course you're driving by, because like one group will be like proper golf attire, right? You can see them even at like 7 a.m, right? They're out there.
Oh yeah,
they're in their golf attire, right? And then like a couple holes over, you've got a dude who there's definitely not sleeves on his shirt, right? And I think those are jorts. Okay, like that's what.
Yeah, there's definitely a Jared
nothing
and
wrong
a
with that.
Jethro on the same course.
Nothing wrong with that, and I think anybody should be allowed to play golf. But like, it's just so weird that everyone holds it up to this like just super high elite thing, and it's very clearly not. Like, it's just a hobby that people do.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like nobody thinks that way about like bowling, or they're like, oh my god. Except for the South Koreans, we learned in the sport movie that we watched. But
sport movie,
like it's just so weird to me that people talk about it like this. And then like what people I think what annoys me the most is like what the way that people talk about golf and what I see about golf are not matching. Right? Like there's just there's just this giant disconnect. Like, okay, I'm just gonna assume people talking about golf like this have never been to Missouri and they don't know what's happening with their beloved game or whatever. Again, I'm sorry, Scotland. It's not gone well. Apologize, but like,
yes, yeah, we are definitely crafting a legacy of our own using your gift to us. So
St. Andrews, that's the Scottish golf course. There we go.
Oh,
I had to dig deep in my brain for that one.
Wow, good pull.
Oh, yes, there you go. The other thing that I thought about in your conversation was when we were talking about word salad.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
We've been doing a lot of research recently because my final science side project is like making a video about science facts because the internet is so full of bad science videos.
True things, yes, that's what I heard.
Naturally, that's led me to watching people that like talk about how the earth is flat and things like this. You know,
I was just it was just on the thing formerly known as Twitter, and someone posted a video of another problematic person or whatever, but like Elon Musk launching a rocket, and they followed it all the way up, and then there was like this like blue explosion. Did you see this? And people were like, he broke through the dome.
Yeah, no, they're like, he just hit the dome. I don't know why there's so many like.
I just watched this video. It was fantastic.
But this is a common feature, right? They say a lot of words, and you're like, yes, those are words, and that is science vocabulary. But you don't really use those words together in a sentence. That's not how this works. I've gone down very many rabbit holes. I had no idea that people don't believe gravity's real. And yeah, you know that. Do you know gravity's not real?
I mean, I have a lot of questions.
Yeah,
that's
me too.
I'm gonna say
it's very strange, but like part of the like one question I always have is they always say, they're hiding this. I'm like, who are they? Who are they? And why would they make up gravity to lie to you? Like what? What is the end goal?
Right.
Like, why would they do that?
What do you think they're wanting, right? How?
Yeah. Like, what is the point of this? Do you think? Like,
right. Let's just assume. Okay, let's go with you for a minute. This is their grand plan. They've figured out how, but like, why? Right? What?
Yeah. Why would they do that?
To what
Right.
end?
And again, I think I mentioned this couple. Like, these people are like really mad at like the secret shadow government, and they think the secret shadow government is bad. And you're like, guys, you can just be annoyed at the real government because they can be doing better. Right?
It's terrible enough.
It's bad enough, right? They should just be doing better. You could be mad at that. Like there's not like a secret mad thing. It's like the wackiest stuff, right? Like every once in a while, you're just like, oh man, it can't get any wackier than this. Oh. And then yesterday, I watched a guy. Well, actually, I watched a response video to a guy because I couldn't bring myself to watch the actual video because it was too bad. But like, he was talking about all the animals that the government is faking. Did you know
birds
that anacondas are not real?
Okay, so see, this is new to me. I knew birds. Were real.
No. Okay. You know. Well, I mean, I guess on the list was not birds, right? I guess unless you count penguins. Penguins are not real. The other one that was hilarious. Giant anteaters, clearly fake.
You're late.
I think his only evidence was they look weird. I'm like, well, yeah, but like that
does have a point. I mean, they do.
They are funny looking, but like, there's not. And I don't know.
Oh my gosh,
I don't know. Koalas also on the list. Top 10 list of animals that are not real.
I mean,
all koalas are CGI, which is very interesting because I have definitely pet a koala before.
Look,
and,
I'm not saying you're part of koala deep state here, but this is what they do, right? They feed this information to unsuspecting people so that it perpetuates. Because I haven't, so I have to take your word for this. And
I did. His name was Victor. He was very adorable.
Did you drink or eat anything prior to this going into Hold the Koala?
Not for several hours because
okay. So it could have been a delayed result of the hallucinogenic drug they gave you. This is
I think we're right. Yeah, like there was lots of koalas there, and I definitely pet one, and it was adorable. So
or at least you think.
Well, I mean, allegedly, because a lot of them think Australia is not real, and I was definitely there. So like. There's that.
Big time Australia apologist over here. Wow. How much they paid you to say that?
Nothing. I like Australia. It's good times. Good eye. My favorite part is not a lot of these, but there are a couple flat earthers who are Australian. And you're like, ooh, who's going to tell them that other people don't think you're real?
Oh, no. Oh, they're trapped in the box. Oh, no. The poor things.
Yeah, because like some people think Australia is fake. And then like these other people are Australian. And you're like, uh-oh. You agree on almost a lot. But
we're so deep.
There's one big glaring issue here.
Just you can't possibly be here because you're not real. Excuse me?
Oh no. But that's just what it reminded me of when you were talking about the word salad, because that's what all those videos have. Like they just say things and you're like, I mean, those are words that you can use, right? But not in that order. That's not how that works, right?
So, okay, so
like never before has somebody so clearly not grasped a concept of science before. Like you were close there for a minute, and then you just lost the plot. Right. Like I don't really know. What
you're
happened.
Really trying hard. It's amazing.
Yeah. Sometimes you're like, oh, you were almost there. And sometimes they say things you're like, wait, that means that can only work if there is a globe. Hold on. It doesn't.
No.
Wait a minute. Okay. This is my hobby recently. So we've just been watching.
Man.
Because this happens when that's my final science project is we're shooting a video about like factual science. So it could be like something that we studied throughout the year or like something else. Right. But that's led me to research some of these, like the bad ones. And oh my days, they're ouch. Like ouch.
Yeah, yeah. The ones I really like are the ones about like the pyramids, and
Oh man,
right, like what they're there for and everything. There's
yeah.
one going around. Joe Rogan just did an interview with a guy who um thinks that the purpose of the Great Pyramid of Giza was to be a hydrogen collector for energy production.
I've heard this.
Okay.
I know.
And
what?
it's
like
it's fantastic. It really is. Like there are some, the problem is there are some of these conspiracies that you go down and you're like, okay, like I can suspend belief like just enough to buy into this. Like, sure. Like,
then they always say one more thing. You go, no.
As soon as he was like, the shafts that go to the Queen's chambers are the exact dimensions necessary to capture wild hydrogen. You're like, oh, okay, I'm out.
Like, first of all,
and
basically,
their whole purpose is to be a giant hydrogen microwave to make energy and like store it somewhere. And you're like, what? Wait a minute.
In the sand?
But here's the thing, like, what were they using it for? Like, that's never discussed. How were they transmitting it? What else was like? There's a whole lot of missing pieces here, buddy. Let alone sentences like, and it was filled with some chemical to assist in the production of this. And what was the chemical? Well, we don't exactly know.
Funny thing about chemicals, they leave traces in places that they have been. And even like, mundane chemicals, like, water, which is a chemical, by the way, technically, right? And so like, it's like, you can find it. You can find evidence that it was there. And if you're like, oh, there was a chemical, do you have any evidence of anything abnormal? No. Well,
that's a problem.
I don't know how to put this to you.
Yeah. Well, and that was the thing of like, he was claiming that all these things were like filled with water and such. And it was like, okay, but water definitely leaves traces of minerals behind. And you would be able to find water lines if these were filled with water for the hundreds of years that you claim that they were. Like, that's not something that just goes
mineral
away.
Deposits and like weird
algae buildup or whatever. Like, come on, like you got it. So no, it's they're so fun to latch on to.
Yes. Well, I also think that a lot of these people think that the Great Pyramids are the only pyramids that exist, because they always talk about like how good they are and like how well they're built. And then like, if you would literally just like pan the camera around, there's some other pyramids in Egypt that are like,
it's wonderful.
Oh no. And like, you can look at them and you just go like, there is a pyramid called the Bent Pyramid. Okay, I'm just going to throw that out there. Right? Like, the Bent Pyramid exists. Okay. There's a lot of pyramids that are built with the angles are like wrong and they've just like fallen over. Right? They just collapsed. Right? Like the Red Pyramid and like all these other ones, like they're just like, they're like a little too steep, or they're like, you can see what's happening, right? You can watch them like playing with angles and like trying to find the correct angles to like build it high enough so it's cool, but like, so they don't want to be like real squat and wide, and they're trying to build it high. So if they want to build high, how big does the base have to be? Like, you can sort of look at a learning process, right? Because you have like the Bent Pyramid, basically they were like, that's too steep, and then they had to like short,
right? Like course correct.
Other ones have collapsed, and they're all, so you're like, there's a very clear progression of like experimenting with building pyramids, and then then you do a couple that are like really good, and then you just go, okay, that, but more, boom. This is just sort of how engineering works, right? Like, this is not a mystery. So like, the fact that you're not acknowledging that the bent pyramid exists, right? Like the pyramid of Djoser is a thing. Look at it. Tell me what you think. Like, it's so there. Like, I don't oh no. Right? Or like that there was another one. There's some guy on I'm not gonna remember his name. And if it was, I would not give him any publicity whatsoever. But they'll like read things and they're like, as it says in, this, they like to quote like the oldest thing possible. So like they talk a lot about Mesopotamia too, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm not saying that I'm a Mesopotamia expert, but I dabble, right? And they'll say things that like, well, in this myth, blah, 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 blah. And I'm going like, wait, I've read that one. What are you talking about? Right? Like the presupposition is that you haven't read it. So they can just like say things about it. Right? Because clearly you haven't read, just some random Mesopotamian myth, right? And so they just be like, oh yeah, well it says here and it talks about this and blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh, wait, it doesn't. I have, hold on, I have this book right here. And I like, yeah, is it the reading the translations is hard and, there's always some missing text and stuff, right? And sometimes you're reading and just say like 20 lines missing. It's it's clay tablet. What are you gonna do? But like to go in and be like, yes, I'll just fill in whatever I want to in these 20 lines. Like,
and
how disingenuous you gotta be.
Well, and what that person's probably doing is they probably read like a discussion or they watched a conference on the tablet, and there was some speculation about other kinds of things or other pieces of literature that may have been about this thing, and that who knows that may be the transition from one piece to another, and like there's a lot of speculation, especially around those older documents. Yeah. So what they're probably remembering,
especially the older mythology, because it's weird, right? Like it's very odd.
What they're probably remembering or thinking about is a discourse or a discussion or a presentation that included the possibility of something because it was seen somewhere else and how that might fill in the gaps on this thing.
Yeah.
That's actually what they're doing, or somebody's exegesis of a particular text and the way they interpret it. So like they're pulling in secondary and tertiary sources and then attributing them to the original. And I mean, that's really dangerous because when they kind of do the yada yada yada, like, and I'm just going to quickly summarize this for you, and you're like, wait a minute, like that's hold up.
Yeah, that's real strange, right? Like there's a lot of like sort of surrounding background information that's kind of important for understanding some of those stories, right? Like you need like the cosmology of Mesopotamia is really weird, and because it was around so long, and there's like actually Mesopotamia is like 6 groups of people over a long period of time. Like it's a little because like it's the Greek Roman problem, but like multiplied by 5, where it's like this is the same god, it does the same thing, it has a different name though, and it's in a different area and it has slightly different traits, right? Like it's like the Jupiter Zeus thing, right? It's like that, but now do that with Sumerians, Akkadians, Babylonians, Assyrians, right? Like it gets a little messy.
Over a very long period of time across multiple text sources and all sorts of things,
and areas, and through different lenses, right? Of even perspective from that time, right? Because like even the Akkadians and the Babylonians, they're not looking at things through the same lens because they have their own unique cultural background and things like that, right? But they're using these stories or already like partly established stories to tell other things. And so it's like a little messy. And again, it's also a lot of just like classic mythology of like, well, they're using these gods and things to explain natural events, right? Like, these kind of things. That's kind of what the stories are about. Like that's a very Greek thing, right? We think about the Greeks do that like all the time, right? Like a lot of Greek myths are like, oh, didn't you know that's why this happens? Because Zeus did a bad, right? Like that's what
Oopsie doopsie.
Yeah. Oh no, he did the thing. Like it's like that, but we have a very direct connection to like Greek mythology because like a lot of our language comes from there, right? Like we're talking about this in class too. So like, like Arachne, like the myth of Arachne, right? That's where the root arachnid comes from for spider, right? There's like this straight line connection to that. Well, the connection to the Mesopotamian one is like way messy and it's missing 20 lines. So like you can't so you can't trust people that are like, oh yes, well clearly what they actually meant was aliens. Like okay, bro, hold on. Stop.
Yeah,
like
hold on with me here. Yeah. Let me tell you about this. Let me walk you through real quick.
You're telling me that the reason the wheel was invented was aliens. No.
Yeah.
It was actually kind of an accident because the Mesopotamians, I like to think it was like they used it to make pottery. That's what they invented the wheel for, pottery making. And then in my headcanon, this is unofficial, listeners, not peer-reviewed, they were trying to move the pottery wheel and they like rolled it. They're like, hold on a minute. I got an idea, Steve.
Like, do that again.
Had to move it to the new workshop. They're like, hold on. This is brilliant.
But you're right. Like it's the exact kind of thing where it's like there situations, untold things happen all the time. And so to think that there's just like, no, there's only one way that this could actually come about. It's like, no, like there's an infinite, I'm not, okay, sure, not infinite number of
but
possible
like a very large.
But there's a very large explanation for this that really is going to help. That it doesn't involve aliens. Okay, like if we feel like we've gotten to aliens at this point, we have lost the thread. Like we can't continually assume that this is why we are here.
I mean, it's very lazy historical representation, right? It does two things. It doesn't give credit to ancient people for being more clever, like than you give them credit for, right? Because what you have to remember is these are you just 6,000 years ago, right? Like it's a Homo sapien person, so they're very clever. They have all of the ability to do things that you do. They just don't have electricity, right? So you're not giving the people's credit for the cool stuff that they did. It's like really neat, and also it's lazy because you're like, oh, I can't possibly think of a way to do it. If I can't think of it, must be aliens, obviously. So like you're giving yourself too much credit, and the ancient people way not enough.
Right. Well, and that was
because you're like, oh, clearly I'm more clever than you. Like, what do you know about cutting blocks? Ever done that? Ever? Like, I'm expert. Like you are not. I don't know.
I was just about to say in the discussion on that podcast, the same guy who was talking about how the Pyramid of Giza was a hydrogen something. Like, he was also talking about how there is carved pottery or vases that are way too symmetrical to have been carved in a normal sense. Like, so they therefore must have had access to way more advanced technology than we have today.
Like perhaps a wheel.
Well, I was like, but they had been, what if it was a civilization who had been, I don't know, carving stone for millennia? Like, I don't know. Like, they're probably better at that than we are because we're out of practice, right? Like there are lost arts. Like they just are. Were they more advanced stone carvers? Yes, I will give you that. They were much better at you than carving stone, and me too.
Yeah.
So to say well, there's no way, because we aren't good at carving stone, they couldn't be good at carving stone, so therefore aliens.
Yeah, I think that's the most annoying part is the fallacy argument of like, well, I can't figure out how to do it, so it must be impossible. Like, no, like I talk about that in class sometimes. I'm like, I don't know how to build a car. Did aliens build my car? Clearly, yes. Right? No, that's like what?
Yeah. Yeah. Clearly, those aliens in Detroit.
Yeah, right. They did that, and they just put it all together, and it just magicked into my house. That's not how it works. Right? Like, it's just so ridiculous. And also, it hurts me, like the level of thought that people don't put into this conversation of like, oh my gosh, like it's impossible to cut granite. You're like, well, clearly no, because they did it. And I'm looking at a cut block. So, like, I don't know what you're talking about because it happened. And, like, they're just like, oh, because you can't cut granite with copper. Copper's too soft. You're like, copper is pretty soft. If only there was a readily available abrasive nearby that could be used. An abrasive that was, I don't know, maybe had high amounts of silica in it. And silica is really strong and it can abrade really quickly and cut through really hard materials like granite. We even use this material in modern machines to cut and polish things. It's too bad the Egyptians couldn't possibly have access to sand. Wait a minute.
Well, and on that, they were like, I know there's a lot of discussions of like, well, they had copper. Surely that's not strong enough. And we'll go, okay, fine. Let's say that it was not strong enough. Let's look at, I don't know, other metals that they may have had access to, i.e., like all of the weaponry and stuff that were made from, I don't know, meteorites that we have in, like, there's meteoric iron and like that they had, and it's going, they couldn't have used that.
Melt it.
Like they couldn't have, like if they, you're telling me that they were unable to try and apply some of the same things that they worked with copper so well to these meteors and done something with those tools and like,
but again, if you are, what they did, they had copper and they had a lot of copper, like a lot.
Yeah.
Right. Like this is not like a scarce resource. They didn't have a lot of other things, but they had a lot of copper. And conveniently, they also had a ton of gold, so they could just buy other stuff.
Yeah. And people are like, "Well, you can't find the drills. Like, we've never found one of these drills." I'm like, "Well, yeah. But how many do you think they had? Like,
not like they don't have like it's not like a modern workshop where there's like 1,000 of them.
Yeah,
they're probably like 2, and they use them all down because they would have worn down. I mean, I'm not saying they didn't, but like. They would just use it until it was gone. They're going to throw it away when it's half done.
Yeah.
Right.
And then once they've built the thing, don't need it anymore. Like it's
that's true. So you could melt it down into something else.
Yeah. Like,
right. Recycling.
And
the other thing too, like when you don't give credit, I think people underestimate like the trade network that was happening.
Oh yeah, just how global it. I mean,
just like when I say global, I mean it was though.
How vast it was.
Yeah. How vast it really was, because you think about like Egypt, you think like, oh, they were only in the Nile River Valley. About that, like, like we know that, like it's factual that they were talking to and communicating and going to like Mesopotamia, right? We know that. But like we know that they had bronze later, right? And we know that Egyptians' most favorite decorative stone is lapis, right? It's all over the place in their decorations. They use it for stuff, right? The Sumerians used it too, right? For the hair decoration and stuff like that. And a lot of the lapis is not from Egypt. It's not from Mesopotamia. It's from Afghanistan. Right? Like, that's like the largest lapis mines ever. Right? And even the ancient lapis is coming from Afghanistan. Right? A lot of the tin that they're mixing and smelting with the copper to make bronze later on is coming from Afghanistan. And like Pakistan over close to India. Right? So this is already, we're seeing like vast trade networks appearing, like before Alexander decided to go crazy and do all stuff, right? Like several thousand years later, this is happening. And it's like, it's right there. Like you just look at an Egyptian, anything like, oh, look, there's blue rock in it. I wonder what that could be. Yep. Boom. It's like, it's what it is. Like this is coming from so far away. So clearly we are very interconnected. We have a lot of trade happening, which also means we're trading what? Say it together, class. Information. Dun, dun,
No.
dun.
No, people don't talk to one another. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, right?
How dare you?
There's a very large, like, ancient global trade network happening that, again, we're not giving people credit for because we're just being like, oh, it must be aliens.
So I'm glad you do a deep dive on these things so that you can have the students review them, or how do you?
Oh no, I was just like, I just sort of like got stuck in this rabbit hole, right? Because I was like thinking about this, and we talk in class about misinformation and like bad science, and then that sort of like these come up because Google is listening to me, and then I'm watching. All of a sudden, I'm watching videos about this. So yeah, that's how what's been going. My hobby recently. That's okay.
It's good. It's good. Sounds healthy.
Yeah. Well, my other hobby, going to Salvadorian Bakery.
Apparently, okay. Look, so this is. Do we need an intervention already? Because it seems
no, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. Everything's fine. They posted they sold out of stuff again today, so it's going well. I think. That's a good time.
Yeah. So you have been supporting local this week.
Yeah.
So how has it gone? What's been like?
Well, so the rundown is they opened last Saturday, right? So we went at like they opened at like 10, I think, for opening day. And we went at 11, and it was like a zoo because they were like sold out of a bunch of stuff already, and they were like all hands were on deck for opening day. So it's like very family owned thing, right? Like the backstory is like a lot of the recipes are in the original baker in the house was grandmother, right?
Oh,
who
wow.
unfortunately recently passed away.
Oh,
they have like a video on Facebook of like her and her house and like and stuff, and in El Salvador and everything, and like her baking, and the bakery's like son, right? And then I guess some of his like daughters, I think, and the guy that I talked to on opening day is a fiance to daughter, and then there is grandson there. So like great grandson of the original grandma lady.
Wow.
Right. So it's pretty cool. So we go there. We just, try whatever they have. And then we went like, we didn't have school Monday. So we were like, well, we could just like go back and see, have something to eat with lunch, right?
Well, might as well. I mean, it's just over
and then
there.
Today we were like, we had to go do a bunch of errands after school. We had to like run over to the bank and do some other stuff. And we were, Susan was like, well, we're going to drive by. So, you got multiple times sampled the goods, right?
Oh,
so I don't have I got a wide variety of things.
And that's important, doing your due diligence to just make sure that the quality is across the menu, right? Because you don't want there to be like the corner of the menu that's terrible. Like you got to work through it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah. So like, I don't know what the official names of these are called, but like the first day I see that picture. I don't know what the red thing is. I need to ask somebody the official name. Susan, I think, found it at one point, but I forgot. It's like a lot of the like traditional pastries, they're like sweet bread based.
Oh, really?
Right. So it's like they are sweet pastries, but they are like, it's pretty subtle sweetness. Right. So you don't eat it. You know, when you eat like 2 donuts and you're like, I don't really, blah. Right. This doesn't have that, which could potentially be a problem.
Yeah.
But the red thing, it was just like dough folded in half, and there's some sort of like jam, something in the middle, and then like just a red crackle crisp thing on the top, and it's so good. It was delicious. And the other thing is it's just like a little hand pie, but it's pineapple filling. Yo, I think that might be my favorite thing. So it's just like kind of sweet bread with pineapple in it, and then just like a little glaze. It's like little sugar on the top, but like real subtle. It's really good, like really good.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, and then we went back, and then we got another pineapple thing, and then like a cookie with like strawberry on it, some like strawberry tart, and then the big round circle thing in the picture I sent you. Right? It's just like a big disc. So that is like Salvadorian quesadilla is what it is. And it's like a bread. It's like a pretty dense bread, almost cornbready, right? But not quite. It's sweeter than cornbread and a little denser. It doesn't crumble everywhere. And it's got like a little bit of like cheese in it. Just a little bit.
Interesting.
And it is so good.
So that was kind of my question of, you're calling it a bakery, but kind of what's the split on the menu? Maybe you don't know right now. Maybe you have to go back a few more days to test of like, because when I think bakery, I typically think of like sweets and not so much savory, but kind of what's your thought on that?
It's a little both. So they have just some like bread rolls, right? There are some like croissant looking things, but they're real big and poof. I really want one of those too. But so they have some like bread. Like I got like a sesame roll thing. Excellent. So they have some breads. They have the quesadilla thing, which is like pretty bready. They have the more traditional sweets, like the pastries and stuff that are like a sweet bread based thing, and it has some sort of like jam in it or whatever. A lot of pineapple going on. It's like pineapple jam. It's really, really good. And like, so it's like kind of a sweet a little bit. And then they have like also just like, I don't know, these people are wizards. They have like just cookies that they make that are like more like modern bakery, American style cookie things. These are dangerous because that's what we got today. Did you get the picture I sent you today?
I did.
Okay.
I did. These look magical.
So the bottom one, the one with the icing, the black one with the icing.
These look like donuts, like with as much icing and stuff on them.
Yeah. So the black one, listeners, it has like a black crumble on the top and like a little zhuzh of icing. That's a cookies and cream cookie.
Okay.
What it is like, it's like chocolate chip cookie dough, but I don't really know how to describe it. There's inside this cookie, there is an Oreo. I mean, sandwich cookie, legally distinct. So it's like a sandwich cookie, some sort of frosting, and then it's like wrapped in chocolate chip cookie dough and baked.
Wow.
Oh my God. Yeah. And the other one is a s'mores. It's literally a little graham cracker with a marshmallow in it. And then it's covered in chocolate chip cookie dough and baked. And then they put another little marshmallow on the top and melted some chocolate on it.
So that's what I thought. That's what it looked like to me. Of like, that looks like a marshmallow.
Yeah. But there's stuff in the cookie. It's like a stuffed cookie situation. And it's incredible. there was like several other ones, and so maybe I had to go back for those later. But like, that was a very hard decision because we got there and they were today. We went to after school, so it was like 4, and they had like no bread. All gone. They had like just a little bit, and then cookies, and they didn't even have like a ton of cookies. So again,
wow,
this is good. This is good for them, right?
Yes,
but like. They're like, well, we have a few cookies. And Susan was like, that's kind of what we wanted anyway.
well. But
it was a very difficult choice about which, because there was like 2 other kinds there also. So there were 4 different ones. We got 2. So, but yeah, it's like chocolate chip cookie dough, but there's like stuff jammed inside of it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's nuts. It's so good. But I think the pineapple thing still might be my favorite. That's
well, that's good to hear. And I mean, is it did they have a big grand opening for this, or was it more of a soft grand opening, or I don't know, like how was it? Has it been? I mean, obviously, if they're running out of product there, it's being well received.
Well, I guess it was like, I don't really know the appropriate vernacular here, but like they had their big grand opening day last Saturday, and then like this weekend or next week, some point they have like the official ribbon cutting with like the Chamber of Commerce and all the stuff, right?
Yeah.
But they did just like day 1 that Saturday. They were like, nope, we're open now. So
okay,
like, that was kind of like their big day. They had like a big thing. They had like stuff. I think there was like door prizes for the first like 20 people in the door, something like that. So it was a pretty big grand opening.
Yeah.
So then they started like halfway through their day. So it was a pretty big, like, nope, here we go, blam. So, but yeah, it's been pretty good so far. I like it.
That's nice. It's like, no, I love that, and seeing people bringing that, and I don't know, it's just cool to see. And
no, it's really cool.
That's going well for them.
There's a big picture of grandma in the store, right? And there, and all the people are just so stinking nice. That's the best. That's the other great part about it. They're just like so cool and like nice, and they'll talk to you and be like, "Oh, this is what we got today." Blah blah. Blah. Like, here we go. So, yeah, they're just really cool people. So that's also why I like it. So they're just like super cool. So
yeah, turns out cool people make things better. It's
right. There you go. Shocking.
Well, so what? How many unnamed pineapple bakery items? How many of those would you rank this out of 5?
Oh man, definitely 6.
6. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very good.
That's where I saw this going. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Need more pineapple thing. Really nice. I like it.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. Oh, I also the other thing I had this week, one more small note.
Sure.
A 12-year-old mystery has been solved.
What?
Right? This is the wildest thing ever. Right? So a long time ago, we were like, when I first started working at school, right? We're relatively close with this like Hispanic family, right? And so, mom and sister and brother and everything. And so they just like invited us to the uncle's wedding.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the first like Mexican event I was ever invited to was like this wedding. Right. And it was kind of weird because the kid was just like, yeah, the kids were like, you should come to my uncle's wedding. And mom was like, yeah, come, it'll be fine. Whatever. Right. This was confusing to us. This is before we realized that when there is a Mexican party, literally just everyone shows up. And it's just like a thing. Like, right. It doesn't matter.
Wow.
Who cares? But like, they're just like, hello, welcome. Here's some food. Here you go. Very friendly. Right. But we didn't know this. So it's real strange. And so like, we had no idea who these people were. So we watched this wedding.
Whoa.
Don't know who the bride and groom are. No idea. Right.
That's fantastic.
kind of funny. But like, there's a lot of kids from school there and their parents, and so we're just like, chilling and talking. So, and so this year in school, I had this kid, and where I was talking about the other kid, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's my cousin," and I was like, "What? Hold on." So I finally found it. I dug through my photo albums.
Oh.
And I have the picture like we took of the bride and groom at this wedding. And I took it to school and I was like, "Yo, hey, come here. I have a weird question for you. Is this your mom and dad?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Ah, ah."
No. That is wild.
It was so funny.
Wow.
Because I thought it might be him like a while ago. I just couldn't find his picture. Like it was somewhere in a photo album, right? Because I talked to him before. I was like, wait. I was like, I think I have this crazy statement, but I think I may have been at your parents' wedding. And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah." Because like we were invited by this other kid and his mom. And he was like, "Well, that's my cousin. So maybe." And so I found this picture finally and I took it to school today and I showed him and he was like, "Yeah, that's my mom and dad."
How'd that make you feel?
It was hilarious. It was so funny. Finally, the mystery has been solved. Mystery's been hanging over me for a long time.
Well, I mean, yeah, talk about little circles that round themselves off randomly in your life. Like that is wild to have that come back and be like, "Oh,
absolutely hilarious."
This
like
is wow, that's cool. Look at that.
But yeah, that's the other big going on this week. I finally solved
that's
a mystery.
It's a pretty big one.
Yeah. Decade in the making, right? It was a bit
dun dun
dun. I can't do the unsolved mystery guy's voice. But I can't go really deep in like but like yeah, there you go. So officially solved. I told Susan, she was like, "Oh my gosh." Now we know. Now we really know the truth.
Wow.
It was them.
It was them. It was them all along.
Yeah. Who knew? Which is even funnier because I saw them at the beginning of this year at a different wedding. Or maybe it was a birthday party. Like we were at a thing and it was like right after open house. It was like the next, because we had an open house and then we had like the weekend and we started school the next day. Mm-hmm. So like that weekend was somebody's, I think it was a quince, and we went and she walked by me and I just met her and I was like, "Oh, how's it going?" And she was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing here?"
Oh, wait a minute.
Really funny. They were like, what?
Small world.
Yeah. So there you go. That's my other big news this week. I solved a mystery.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
It was really been weighing on me for a long time. So I got
okay. Well, now hopefully you can sleep tonight.
I think so. Yes. Probably better than last night. Look at that. So we good to go.
In a mystery that has still yet to be revealed or solved. So this is continuing. No grandstand event has been announced for the Missouri State Fair on the 17th. No, still not.
Why are they toying with you like this?
I know. Everybody knows who it is. They just need to come out and say it. Everybody knows. So we wait another week to determine.
Well, drat. All right, we've accidentally talked too long, and I don't get to know about this Towers of Silence thing. Again, I'll have to put that on the next week.
I've moved it. I've moved it to next week. We'll need to pair that with the other international idioms to lighten that mood.
That's fair.
So, yeah. So
all right.
We'll keep those together.
Okay, yeah. do the towers first, and then go.
Yeah.
Sorry, we need a break between idioms, right? We
We can't, because then it becomes predictable. People think we're the idiom podcast, and then we get.
Although listeners, send us your favorite idioms. Let us know. Right, hit us up.
Exactly.
All right. Well, before we go, do you have a haiku for you? Are you ready? Do you have anything?
I am seated in
right.
with my tray table in the upright and locked position.
Well, speaking of idioms.
Oh no. Okay.
Fences of sausage. Not easily constructed. No shrimp to be seen.
I did it. You did it. You did it. My goodness. We may have to stop after this because that's a big one. That's a big one right there. My gosh. Wow. Whoa, that's amazing.
There you go. Blam.
Huh.
Who knew that you could write a haiku about idioms? It's also basically an idiom.
Yeah.
In haiku form. Look at that.
It's just, again, more circular stuff. It's going crazy. We're getting too close.
Tell your CA teachers, right? Show them what's up.
Oh, okay. Well, now when we launch the shirt and the stickers, we can have a haiku to go along with it.
It's true. Well, it'll be in the book, so like it'll be all connected. Branding. It's long-term storytelling right here. This is like better than wrestling. Look at that. That's how it goes.
This is getting really kind of hard to follow here. I may need a help document.
It's fine. It's okay. It's right. It's a deep rabbit hole, this podcast, right?
That's all this is.
Full of really obscure references and
callbacks.
And callbacks and references to references that we made.
It's just welcome to our world. Sorry. Yep. Hey. Well, man, this gives me a lot to sleep on and think about, and
there you go.
Ponder. And yeah, next time we'll be the towers and cat idioms.
All right,
so you go.
There you go.
Okay, and with that, we'll do this again.
Yes.
Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.